Alright, everyone. The cast is not over, but we spoke for almost 3 hours, Tony and I. I know that most of you are probably not going to sit through another hour and 10 of a discussion in a single cast, so we're going to cut this up into two parts. In Linkito, we play the latest citizen in the last city on the planet following a great disaster. In order to prove our worth, we are about to become the latest repairman, who's on to go from division to division, repairing all kinds of devices, appliances, and more. Now, our gameplay here feels kind of like the in-between of a full-on Zachtronics style kind of puzzle programming style, and that of like a traditional puzzle, maybe like a escape room puzzle box kind of design. How our basic logic works is that you'll connect wires from various inputs to outputs, which will then transfer electricity. When things are connected, they will interact in different ways, sometimes carrying the charge, alternating it to another device, etc., etc. Your mission is, on most of the kind of starter maps or starter puzzles, is to fill up the kind of power gauge to power up / repair the device. Do it, and you'll move on to the next puzzle. But while this is certainly the basics of the game, it does get more evolved as you go on that I'll come back to in a minute. One thing I really like about Linkito is kind of both the puzzle philosophy and the kind of phrasing or aesthetics of the game. It does a great job of presenting these puzzles as more of a kind of a series of challenges rather than trying to figure out one grand solution to it. So how this will often work is that a lot of these puzzles are built on kind of different sections that you'll have to figure out or solve. So just being able to access a wire or input in a locked box or in another part, which will then allow you to then rewire it back to the main puzzle. Now, our puzzle complexity here will definitely kind of wax and wane based on how far you are in the game. What they do is that each division of the city has its own set of puzzles, and while they all keep to the same basic logic of connecting wires, what you'll be connecting to will radically change. In one division, you'll have to make use of kind of a timer in order to send electricity at certain intervals. In another part, you'll use robots that you'll need to wire their commands almost like Lemmings style in order to get them from beginning to end. The game also introduces puzzles that involve you actually building said puzzle or said solution out of different devices and having a limit on how many connections you can have to solve it. And in a way, this is just basically the game kind of guiding or easing the player into the fact that it has a full-on level editor for people who are not only devious puzzle solvers, but also want to make some devious puzzles of their own. The brilliance of Linkito is that it's not aiming for the same level of difficulty and complexity as a Zack-like or a programming puzzle game. Since every puzzle has one optimal solution to it, you're not going to be kind of, I guess, at a loss for the puzzle logic here. And because of how compartmentalized everything is, it's a little bit easier to grasp compared to kind of throwing the player to the wolves and asking them to completely learn a fake programming language or something else along those lines. Now, because of that, it means that Linkito does not have the same kind of depth as a Zack-like or some of the other games we've played. Again, with only having one optimal solution to a puzzle, it means you don't have kind of the non-linear aspect that is kind of the mainstay of Zack-likes. But as a result, it does again make it a little bit easier to learn and kind of approach each puzzle and each section of the puzzle as its own unique thing. If I had any complaints, I just have, I guess, like two general nitpicks. The time-based puzzles, where you'll need to kind of rewire and change the wiring within specific time frames, I felt was a little bit awkward for a game like this. Because when you add time-based challenges on top of critical thinking puzzles, it can lead to things being a little bit more stressed in that regard. And during the kind of build your own solution puzzles, I would have liked a way to kind of be able to move something around while keeping the wires connected to them. I don't know if that was an option that I missed or not in the game itself. Still, with everything said, Linkito is a fantastic puzzle game. Having this all tied to this kind of like retro future aesthetic, and again, just the general presentation, does a lot to alleviate the difficulties and sometimes pain points of a lot of the puzzle games we played that just kind of present, here's a complete mess of nodes and wires and items, try and solve the puzzle. By keeping everything very self-contained, it allows the onboarding to do a far better job of easing the player into unique rules and how things will work going forward. And the fact that each division has its own set of puzzles, and there's a bonus set of kind of optional hard puzzles you can do once you finish the main set, does keep the puzzle design interesting and keeps the game moving. So once you get to the end of one set, you get to see what else the game will challenge you with. So Linkito definitely comes with a high recommendation from me. If you've liked kind of puzzle games, or you like the idea of a Zack-like, but found that level of puzzle logic to be too complicated or too kind of demanding from you, then this is an easy recommendation. And I do hope we see more from this game, and I shudder to think what the fans will start creating in terms of their own original puzzles going forward. Linkito was played with a press key provided by the developer. If you'd like me to go to your game for a future stream, video, review, please reach out. It does not have to involve puzzle platforming, puzzle programming, or programming puzzling at all in it. Let me know what you think about this one down below, and if we have any Zachtronics fans in the audience, let me know what some of your favorite games were as well. Maybe at some point I will try to make my mind overheat trying to play them. Thanks for watching, and with that said, have a great rest of your night, and see everyone in the next video. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and you're interested in more in my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.